All right, ladies, gentlemen, gamers, welcome back. So, as you could probably tell by the hopefully correct title and the image on screen right now, I've watched Arcane. And what is there to say about it? What opinions can I give that hasn't already been given by the general public? Well, spoiler alert, it's good. And I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the things I liked, the things I disliked, and whatnot. I don't expect this to go too long, aside from just specific opinions I have on certain things that happen. Because listen, if you've seen one Arcane review, you've seen them all. Everyone loves this thing. It's great. So yeah, I'm gonna be including very minor spoilers. Nothing to where if you haven't seen this series, you can't watch it after I do this. Although I might include some major spoilers at the end to really talk about it, but I'll say when I'm gonna mention those. So anyway, overall, it was great. It was really good. I really liked it. Jinx was my first main in League after I failed to main Draven for 3 games. I bought Draven, played him for 3 games, didn't enjoy it. Played League for years. Jinx has always been a main champion of mine. I loved her kit. I loved her lore. I loved everything about her. And to see this series, get made and really show her backstory and stuff with Vi, I was very pleased. Now, I didn't have like a complete hard on for it. It was very good, don't get me wrong, but I'm not like foaming at the mouth, destroying my mind, like, oh my god, best show ever, 10 out of 10. Like, no, I'm not like that. It was pretty good though. It was a really good watch for anyone who doesn't even play League. A lot of people who don't play League still enjoy it. And that's one of the things that Arcane does really well. It makes it so you don't need to be a fan of the series already to get into it, and you don't need to know anything prior before going into it, because the story is written so well and they explain things so well in such a way where it's like you don't need any prior knowledge, and that's a huge plus. The best part of this whole thing, of all of Arcane, is that despite not having or not needing any prior knowledge to enjoy this show, having prior knowledge really shows you a lot of stuff. They connect a lot of things in League universe in this show. They bring up other regions like Noxus and Ionia. They bring in a lot of lore from Piltover and Zon that you wouldn't know unless you play the games, and you see stuff in there that's like, oh wait, me being a League player, I know that. And it's really cool. It's really good to see, like, it's meant for both people. It's meant for people who have no clue, and then it's also meant for people who know. And I really like that. So again, some slight spoilers here. I'm going to be mentioning some character names and relationships, but no details. So again, you can still watch it, despite me saying what I'm about to say. But one thing I really did like is the series came out in different acts, right? I waited till they were all out to watch it. And I like seeing how certain characters who started in Act 1, who weren't that big, eventually got bigger roles as the series rolled out in Act 2 and 3. One of them being Marcus, Medarda, and Victor, right? Like, in Season 1, they were like, just side characters. They were shown like barely at all. And then, as the acts went on, and as we got more into the story, they became like main side characters, especially Victor. Oh my god, I fucking love Victor, but I'll get into that. But it was really good to see like characters other than Vi and Jinx got focused on. Like Caitlyn was there a little bit, over time she got more image or more screen time. Jace, I really liked his character, although he was a little boring, but that's fine. Not every character can be interesting. But one of my early complaints that kind of stayed around throughout the whole show, which got remedied a little bit as the show went on, and one thing I'll say here is the show is not, for kids. We knew this going in, but like goddamn, you actually see people die. People do die in this shit, and you see people get like clubbed, beaten, gunned, shot, and that's another thing I'll mention later. But yeah, the cast definitely shrinks as the series goes on because there's new characters in here you've never seen before, and some of them go away. But one of my other complaints was like, as the series went on, it felt like the cast was getting smaller and smaller, which meant we were focusing on more of the side characters, which was a good thing. But it felt like the world wasn't really alive in the sense that, wow, like years are going by in the show and we're still focusing on the same characters but less because some of them have like left. And I was like, damn, the story in the universe feels kind of stagnant because there's no new people coming in. But that kind of got remedied later on. Some new people do come in, but it's very little, and it's really at the end. And that was like one little complaint I had. It's like, wow, you know, for a whole like nation of Piltover and Zon, which it's not even called Zon yet, it's just all of Piltover, under and over city. It felt like, there was no new people coming into the story, and that was so weird. I was like, wow, years passed and the same people are still involved in this, and there's no one new, except until like the very end. I was like, we could have done a little better with that. But anyway, another thing I liked, and again, this is from me playing League, right? When you play League and you know the lore of people, you don't think, despite being geographically near each other, you don't think certain people would interact with other people champion-wise. Now, I'm talking about big name champions in this shit. Like, champions you could play in League. I would have never thought, like, I'll give an example without trying to spoil this, right? I'll give an example of, like, oh, yeah, you guys know Kindred? Well, Kindred actually met with Scion and, sat down with him and had a conversation about how he died, but he came back and, like, they met him once and they'll meet him again. It's like, it makes sense, but it's never been said that it's happened. And Arcane shows that a lot of champions, more than you would think, have actually interacted with each other that you just thought had no business having to do with one another, aside from being geographically close to each other. And it was really, really, really cool seeing that. Really fucking cool. A lot of characters in this show are shown from League. I can, like, let me count off the top of my head. At least 6. There's at least 6 League characters in this show. Possibly 7, if what I'm thinking is correct. And, like, almost all of them have some interaction with one another. Almost all of them. Almost. Well, actually, there might be even 8. Jesus Christ. But, it's just really cool to see how these champions would actually interact in a canon lore-wise way. Because this is canon. It's, it's backstory. It happened in the past. It's already done and done. But it's, like, it's so cool. Like, for a League fan to nerd out on this show, it's just really, really, really cool. They really just, like, took cinematics, right? Like, we asked them, like, whenever they made a cinematic, like, League, just make a show, just make a movie already. And by God did they deliver, because this shit is chocked full of just, like, stuff a League person would just really, really love. And I do love it. But again, that doesn't mean the series is perfect, although it is really, really good. Again, I'm not, like, jizzing over it like other people are. I'm, like, pre-coming over it. But anyway, so again, side spoiler here. Victor and Jace in the show interact. That's one of the champion interactions, but you kind of could guess that from their lore anyway. I love Victor and Jace's relationship. I really, really, really like it. Now, this being a backstory sort of show, I really like how you see the champions a little bit different from how they are. Now, this includes Jinx, which I'll get into in a bit. But Vi is, like, pretty close to how she is in-game. Caitlyn is pretty close to how she is in-game. They're just younger versions of themselves. Jinx is probably the only, like, not comparable one to how she is in-game. At least a little bit, because in-game she's fucking crazy. In this one, she's a child. She's not crazy yet. But, the other person who's not as they are in-game is Victor. You see a young Victor and his motivations and how he is, and you don't know how he becomes, like, Victor in game, but you see the lead up to what you think will push him towards it, and it's really fucking good. Honestly, aside from, like, Jinx and Vi, which are great characters, a lot of the side characters are ones I actually really, really enjoyed. Victor being one of them. I really, really like Victor. Jace and Victor are big fucking homie, but I really enjoyed Victor because he's so fucking cool. He's just like a guy who's just fucked, but he's so cool. I just love Victor. Victor was done really, really well in the show. Really, really well. And on the topic of side characters, like I said before, right? I love Victor. He's a side character. I also love Marcus. Marcus is a new character you get introduced to in this show. And the reason I like Victor and Marcus are shared in this show, and that's, like, the theme of, like, these characters might be good, but they're faced with a near impossible situation, which there's no right answer. there's no right answer to some of the things these characters face in this show. Like, no matter what you do, you either end up fucking someone over, fucking yourself over, or something is gonna go wrong. And like, it shows. Like, the characters know what the fuck can they do. No matter what they do, it's a bad decision, but they have to make a decision anyway. And it's not just bad, like, morally. Sometimes it's bad, not morally, but a lot of the times it is morally. It's crazy. It's like the decisions that have no good outcome and are really hard to make, that the side characters have to go through, really are just like expertly written and just really makes you like feel like it's realistic, and it makes you think. It's so nice. It's so realistic. It makes the series feel realistic, and like, it's just great writing. I don't know what else to say. It's just so good. And on that topic, the series is not afraid. Like I said, it's not for kids, but it's really not afraid to go into a lot of serious topics, which I was surprised about. Like, if one thing didn't happen, we wouldn't have one of the league champion. Well, multiple of them, but we wouldn't have had like one of the league champions in game. And it really shows like, wow, just because this one off event of this character like coming in at this certain time and saving this other character, and not even like overtly saving them, just like saying hi to them, it's like, wow, that really just changed something huge. So like I said, there's serious topics in here, like, and I don't know why people on YouTube don't like to say these words. I guess because they get demonetized, but I don't get money anyway, although I have just been hired in a job, so I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, they go over topics like suicide, corruption, mental, problems and instability, and drug use and addiction. And like, I was like, holy shit, they're really showing a realistic show, and it's just really fucked. Like, you see how Zahn is, and you just think to yourself like, wow, this is New York. Like, damn, yo, everyone's poor, everyone's beating each other up, mugging each other. Like, bruh, there's people on the side of the street, homeless, looking like shit, just asking for help. No one's helping them. Like, bruh, it's really like New York, and it's really real. I was like, holy shit, this must suck, bro. Zone really like sucks, but it's so good. It's so done well. Oh, great, I'm getting a Spotify ad. Thank you, Spotify. But anyway, yeah, I mean, as everyone else says, the visuals are great, the music is great, the fight scenes are better than I thought. They do, like, what I love in fight scenes, right? You could have the general, like, punching and stuff, and it has to look visually good, but how the fight is choreographed is very well done. The fight, like, where, like, Vi fights too, I love the way she fights. Vi punches and shit, oh, it's so good. Jinx is pretty good too. I like how fast Jinx is. I just like the general style of how they did for fighting. Like, they have very fast moments where characters like zip around, where obviously they're not that fast realistically, but the way they make it look is like they make them look like they're zipping around like crazy. It's so cool. And the way Vi moves and just punches people, oh, it's so fucking satisfying. So anyway, this is kind of a little gripe I had with the show, but there's characters again from League that, oh my god, this ad is so obtrusive, bruh. Spotify, what are you doing, you bitch? But anyway, let's hear this ad. What is this? What is this for? Oh, Duncan ready to drink bullshit. They really gave me two 30-second ads. Fuck you, Spotify. I'm gonna wait for this to finish. Let's hear this. I fucking hate you, Duncan. I hate Spotify so much. I literally put this shit on repeat so it wouldn't play ads, but whatever. Anyway, now that that's over. Yeah, so one gripe I had was, you hear champions' voices in game, right? And for the most part, they're pretty similar to how they are in Arcane, except for one person. And I don't know if I want to reveal who it is because it's a little bit of a spoiler, so I won't. But there's a champion in here that their voice is slightly different from how they are in game, and it caught me off guard. I'm like, oh shit, like, wait, that's them? That doesn't sound like them. And I was like, like, what the hell? I mean, they get pretty close, but I don't know. It's not really a complaint. It's more of just an annoyance. Like, it fucking annoyed me. But anyway, now we're gonna go into like pretty decent spoilers. I'm not gonna spoil too much, so again, you could probably watch the show after this, because again, the show's a prequel. You know the League champions are not gonna die because they're still alive in the current lore. So if Caitlyn and Vi and Jinx are alive in the current lore, you know nothing's gonna happen to them that's gonna kill them in this series. So it's like, I don't know if people were expecting them to die or whatever, but I mean, come on. They're alive in current lore, and this is a backstory. So, again, just don't be stupid. But, yeah, we're going to go into some side story spoilers. But, I mean, you could obviously know them because you know how they end out if you know League. If you don't know League and you haven't watched it, then I suggest stopping here. But if you know League and you know Jinx and Vi's lore, then I'm not really spoiling anything. But anyway, one thing I didn't like or I didn't really understand throughout this whole show, right, was Vi left Jinx when she was younger. And then Vi comes back after getting out of prison. And she goes to Jinx and she's like, yeah, you know, Jinx, I abandoned you. I made a mistake. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I'm not abandoning you again. I'm always going to be your sister. I'm always with you 100%. Unless, you know, Caitlyn is injured and I have to help her. I have to be a good person. Which I agree with, you know. Obviously, helping someone who is in dire need comes first when they're doing something. But, like, overall, I felt like after Vi got out and, like, kept trying to reconnect with Jinx, I don't understand why Jinx wasn't accepting it and was pushing her. Like, oh, I mean, you could make the argument, like, yeah, Jinx is going crazy. But she wasn't crazy that much yet. She was still, like, somewhat sane. And I don't understand, like, why she doesn't accept just, like, Vi's, like, coming back. I really don't get it. Like, it didn't make any sense to me, like, just logically. Like, Vi's like, yeah, I'm staying with you. You've shot at me. You've hurt me. You've beaten me. You've knocked me out. You've done all this abuse to me. But I'm still on your side. I'm not against you. I'm still with you. And Jinx is like, no, you've changed. You're not with me. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, they could have been together. I don't understand. It's so stupid. I didn't understand that. Like, Vi literally does almost next to nothing wrong. But again, maybe the argument is Jinx is crazy, but I'm not buying it, bro. That was one thing I didn't understand and didn't like. Now, another thing is, and this is probably because Season 2 is going to come out, but, and I mostly blame this on Necrit, too. If you don't know who Necrit is, he's a League guy who does a lot of League lore, and he hypothesized a lot of stuff for the show. And one thing that, you know, Necrit kind of put in my mind is that once, I'm not going to spoil too much here, but once Jinx's eyes turn purple, she would get, like, extreme, like, she would break. That's when she became, like, Jinx that we know, and she becomes, like, super crazy. The purple stuff she took that made her eyes purple obviously made it a little worse, not too much worse, but she was still pretty much, like, as a little bit more unhinged than she was before. Like, I didn't see her really as she was in game as crazy as that. But, who knows? Maybe they're taking it in a more serious tone than in-game. Maybe they're not going to be exactly like in-game, but I really didn't understand how, like, she didn't go as crazy as I thought she would be. Obviously, she's a little crazy, but it's more like real crazy, not like psycho crazy. Like, her crazy is she's hearing voices and, like, she's, like, going, like, buck wild. She's, like, breaking down. She's just, like, you know, losing control. The crazy we know Jinx as is, you know, she wants to have fun. She's a psychopath. She doesn't, like, see the world in, like, a sick, twisted way. She sees it, well, it is a sick and twisted way, but she sees it more of, like, in a fun and playful way, and she's more just, like, a jokester that causes death and destruction, but, like, in a happy, fun way. I didn't really get that from the show. I got, like, she was just, like, mentally unstable and, like, just sad. Not, like, happy crazy. She was sad crazy. And I didn't really get, you know, when that was going to happen, but again, I mean, we have Season 2 confirmed, so that's that. And again, another, you know, medium spoiler, but I guess the last spoiler I'll really talk about, because I'm pretty much, you know, done here with my opinion, is I really wish they did more with Singed. I think Singed was so underused, and every time we saw him and, like, the experiments he was doing, which, you know, we didn't even know about it, or they didn't explain, it was so interesting. I was like, damn, I want to see more of what Singed is doing. It is so cool. But yeah. Overall, I mean, it was a great show. Aside from those minor gripes and annoyances I had, it was great. You know, everything that everyone else is saying is basically true. Great looking show, visually great. Fights are choreographed great. Music's great. It's great. That's it. You know, that's my opinion. It was all good. Aside from some minor irks here and there, you know. I hope that Arcane Season 2 comes out. It's as good as Season 1. And they just move to other, like, stuff. I hope. For now, they could keep doing backstory. I just hope they move to different regions. Like, you know, Freljord, Void, Shurima, Bilgewater, Shadow Isles. Like, they have so much to work with. And Arcane has shown it could be done, and it could be done well. It is so fucking good. My only hope is that in the future, eventually, we will get either current like day lore or something to advance the story with a show, and it will be so good. My hope, and I've said this before, my hope is that one day they will actually kill off champions, and you can still play them in game and stuff, but the lore will keep pushing forward, and certain champions will just be dead in the lore, and like they won't have interactions with certain characters or whatever. But yeah, I mean that's it. It's great. That's my main opinion. It's great. It's good. If you haven't watched it, watch it. If you don't play League, you can still watch it. If you play League and you like League, because that's a small minority, you'll love it. It's great. Anyway, yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. I'm out of here.